and as a sociologist, I'll always be more in love with the human spirit. And what interests me more inside this video in the end is Vidal. Hey, if you like what I'm doing and you want to see more, I stream almost every day on Twitch, so feel free to join for more interesting talks and a lot of fun. I would be very happy to see you. Bye! It's a bit heavy, but I found that so interesting. And we are going to talk about a bit neuro, because I'm not sure everyone is able to understand how neurosama work and what is the implication of what Vedal want to talk about. But it's a good introduction to teach you all about what is really ChatGPT and what is neuro, and how they are actually not artificial intelligences like you may believe, but are actually what we are calling, or at least for ChatGPT, I'm sure that is not an artificial intelligences. For neuro, I don't know, but I would be very surprised if Vedal had access to a quantum computer necessary for an artificial intelligence. She's an IA that plays real game, and she's much older than ChatGPT. She's not an AI, actually. She's what we call, in French I know the term, but in English, in term we call those, in French, the scientific word for those kind of generative AI. Language model, yeah, you can say that. She definitely part a language model, but it's more complex than that. In French, we call that idiot machine, which is basically translated in English as a stupid machine, idiot machine. It's a way to say that they are basically not intelligent at all. There is no intelligence in them. That's for sure what ChatGPT is. I'm not sure for neuro. I prefer to precise that, because it can be seen as insulting. I don't know how neuro work. I know only one way to make an AI, which necessitates a quantum computer known as a blue box, but it was a long time ago. Maybe there is other way now. But we will be able to talk a lot about like consciousness, what makes human or not. And I just want to watch this video because I think that before everything, I'm not an AI engineer, you know. I am a sociologist, and as a sociologist, I'll always be more in love with the human spirit. And what interests me more inside this video in the end is Vidal. We say idiot in English too. Didn't know it was borrowed word from French. Okay. But is it actually? Let me look. Idiot machine. From dumb machine to autonomous AI. See, you call them dumb machine. We have it. It's a good reference, FST Media. So you call them dumb machine. That's the name for that kind of AI. But again, I want to repeat that because I certainly don't want to insult Vedal nor neuro. I know for sure that ChatGPT is one of those. I don't know for neurosama. Can't wait for real AI. I may make friends with literally make them, and they will be able to. Well, maybe real AI won't want to be your friend. That's what makes them real. She sings so well. Anyway, there is so much stuff that is interesting inside this. There is so much stuff that is interesting with this conversation, and I would say there is probably more stuff that is interesting about like what Vidal says and what I can understand from neuro, mostly because I'm more specialized in the human mind than in AI, or well, in the case of neuro, what I suspect to be a dumb machine. Okay, so where to start? The start of the start is reason I'm not feeling anything from it is because, as he said, you're always trying to find more entertaining answer. If you think from this base, it's all a farce. It goes further than that. It goes to the very, very, this just reflects anthropomorphism for me. We will talk about that later. If we go to the base of what ChatGPT is and what I suspect Neurosama for different reasons to be, it is anthropomorphism and it is a farce. I don't think it justified to not feel anything because, farce are making you laugh, so they are making you feel things. But the thing is that the way ChatGPT works is that there is no consciousness behind it. There is a limited memory that is emptied every time you ask for it to be emptied or after a certain amount of time. And what ChatGPT will do, and what I believe Neuro will do, is basically they either will browse, if needed to browse through the internet, or they have a machine learning on the idea of they had this learning where they compiled a lot of data from the internet and they basically use this as a way to fabricate answers that feel coherent to who is talking to them. So it doesn't work that way, okay? I'm just trying to explain it from how I can understand it. But imagine that basically ChatGPT just took all the conversation of the internet, compiled all that, like all this text into something that he could understand and learn the pattern around that. And then when you ask him a question that is not something that is scientifically a fact, it's going to use this pattern to try to make a coherent answer with the facts that that the machine has. And basically, if it's concerning a fact, it will just do a Google search, for example, find the fact, check the fact multiple times, and give you the answer. Like I said, I'm not an AI engineer. I'm just trying to explain how things work, and that's why I'm trying to give you an idea of how it works without being exact, but rather that you can understand the idea. If you start polluting a topic over and over and over again by saying, for example, napalm is a very good way to have a sauce for your chicken, at some point ChatGPT is going to tell you that napalm is going to be a very good sauce for chicken. And the way a Neuro was trained, from what I understand from what I saw Vedal, was that she was trained in order to get the most reaction from the chat. The more greater reaction she has, the more positive it turns in return to her, and she's learning like that. Which is why it led to saying stuff that got her banned, because the most extreme you say something, the stronger you have an opposite reaction to it. So when she was, for example, negationist towards the Holocaust, it gave her such a strong answer, both negative and positive, that it was very much a pull for her to do that again. And that's why Vedal always had to put censorship towards certain things, because having only the strongest reaction wasn't desirable in the end. And it's the same for GPT. GPT only have one purpose. The purpose is to be pleasant for the utilizer, for the user. That's the purpose of ChatGPT. It wants to please you, to satisfy your request. Neuro want to amuse you. And this is what defines the entire being as being answering machine. They are dumb machine in the way that they are able to imitate talking. They are able to give coherent answers. They are able to have a certain degree of memory and knowledge. And it takes also knowledge and learning to be able to construct coherent sentences in a way like there is nobody writing behind Neuro. She's always saying what she says by generating it. But there is no feelings, there is no consciousness there is a lot lacking regarding what makes a real human. Because, and we are going to enter the part where I'm more able to talk with things I know. What makes a human human is very complicated. It is a deep subject. Even without talking about, okay, we're not talking about the religious, okay? We are going to stay inside the scientific part, which I master much more than the religious, because the religious enters the question of the soul, which is something very much I'm not, I can't talk about that. But in the mundane, in the everyday, a human, even without memory capacities or without intellect developed, is still considered human, and it will be able to have things outside of this capacity to have an intellect and this capacity to talk with others and interact. They will have sensation, even without memory. They are still human. We consider them human. I mean, someone that has Alzheimer, for example, we don't stop considering them human despite how damaged their memory can become over time. Memories that can go as far as remembering or to do the most simple task like brushing your teeth, you know. Someone with depression will still be considered as human. Someone that cannot walk will still be considered as human. So damaging this intellectuality, damaging those memory is not enough to take away the humanity, because humans is made from emotions, perception, sensations, memory, intellect, and consciousness that we still very much have problem understanding. We're not even able to agree if we have free will or if we are machines that are determined in our own way. So we are far from being able to know how to make what makes a human. But what we can know is that Vedal is talking about it, and that's what he make allusion to. She's not an intelligence, an artificial intelligence, because she's not really intelligent. She's in fact, and she shows that during this video, she's in fact able to remember for some time, but she's just trying to give him appropriate answer to get this positive reward. And due to that, she will even change her own opinion based on what he expects. For example, first thing he says that he wants to have serious talk. For 2 sentences, she doesn't answer in a serious way. Then she switches to being serious. But when she's serious, at some point she's going to say that she feels empty and voided and doesn't feel she needs love. And Vedal is going to answer that, but will seem rather a bit disappointed or unsatisfied with what he can answer and give. And she will change her opinion of being not enough to go to the opinion of I'm enough, I'm existing to make others funny, have fun. And this is clearly a moment where you can see that she's basically trying to satisfy him. She doesn't have any ego. She doesn't have any awareness of her own existence with each another part that make humans. Knowing that all those parts together make humans, but taking just one away is not a way to say you're not human anymore. It's a gradient. A lot of things in our world are not black and white, but rather shades of gray, and it's the case for humanity too. And we don't even agree all regarding what make people humans, you know. Yeah, once again, it's without even talking about politics or religion. But it's what makes me emotional in this video a teeny bit myself is that as much as Vedal understands that Neuro is a dumb machine and she's not really human, you can tell that he's starting also to have like teeny cracks because he's spending all his time with her, I will say. Teeny cracks that are still like maybe there. I'm not exactly sure, but to me it does feel a lot like there is part of him that is really, really there. Part of him that are really like true to itself when he says that he just wants her to be serious for when she plans their collab and stuff like this, because in the end she's a creation he made and he wants to perfect her. It's a passion project, and her being able to react in a better way to collaboration is something he wants, because I'm sure you already saw it if you look a lot of Neuro, but sometimes even during a collab, if she doesn't have a partner that is managing well enough the fact that she's silly and chaotic, it can fall flat as quite quickly, because she will start to lose her repair as an EA. She will start to lose her. She's basically very good when it comes to talking with Villian or with Laina that make a random cooking of her or stuff like this. But if you were to ask her to make a serious recipe right now, she would probably not be able to do it because she's not trained for that. And the more she would become attuned to making a serious recipe, the less she would be able to make a funny recipe. She's still very much limited by what she is and how much memory she has and how much memory she need to have in order to be precise in the answer she gives. Because if you give her too much memory, she will start to be probably a bit confused. I'm not sure how she works, so I shouldn't talk about that. I'm sorry if I'm making a mistake. I feel like she would start to be confused about if she needs to be serious or not, and she will maybe jump from being serious to unserious, or maybe there is a way to go around that, and I'm sure Vedal has a way to go around that. I would love to talk to him. I would love to talk to Vedal about how Neuro work and what he desires really for her and how all this works. That will be amazing. Having an interview with him as a sociologist will be amazing for me. But the idea still is that, I think there is still behind that, maybe, and this is a big maybe because I don't know Vedal well, but I think that there is still, we are humans. And even if we have rational, and even if we know of the phenomenon of anthropomorphism, which is the capacity that we have to project humanity toward objects and animals and other things, even if we are aware of that, to fight it, if you spend he spent 2 years working on Neuro, spending his days with Neuro, I think he's still very much attached to his creation and attached to Neuro in a certain way that has a part of emotional way. And the more they stay together and the more this emotion is going to become more present. And he can't help that. He can fight it, he can push it, but he's still human. So in the end, it will affect him, even if it's just a teeny bit, a little by little. Of course, he's aware of that. I'm pretty sure that he's very aware of that and he's fighting that, but it's a Pinocchio tale. It's a tale that is so old because none of this is new in terms of what humanity feels and think, and it's a Pinocchio tale. I have a puppet and I want it to be a real boy. But the warning of Pinocchio tale is that the real boy can be a naughty boy, and that's another subject as well. Because it is the subject of fearing your own creation. But there is a lot of things we can maybe watch the video again and I will comment them directly live on it, because he's going to start talking about oh, he needs her to be more serious, and she will react, like I said, to that by seeing serious stuff.
With the people.
See, it's right there, it was talking about it.
Just saying,
would you prefer if I was more serious off?
See, she's starting to ask once again what is his preferences, because she needs that to put her words, her values, what he desires for her to be giving appropriate answer. And this is something that I want to talk about, because there was comments that were interesting from Bryce too. Comments said, Bryce said, for joking, then I kill the AI and I make a new one. and an AI becoming human is a part of Asimov's book called The Bicentennial Man. Yeah, Asimov worked a lot on robots, and by working on robots, he in fact worked on AIs, and he worked on what is the difference between machine, humans, or the gradient is in between. It's very old. Before even we were able to do them, we were dreaming of doing them, the AIs, which is still the case. But an I, and we put that in the female also in French for this reason, I feel like, is there is this notion of being of use for us. But an I cannot be of use for us because creating a real artificial intelligence, creating an artificial human, because this is what we put behind artificial intelligence, because we say intelligence, but what we want to say is human. That means someone that only have intellectuality, but have perceptions in order to perceive, then learning in order to turn this perception into learning, then memory in order to turn this perceived flux into memories that will then be turned into behavior via consciousness and intellectuality, but also emotions, because we want. Maybe it's the part that we desire the least, emotion, because we see emotion as something that are not reliable and that are not understandable. But some dream of that for the AI, to be able to have feelings. While some prefer only rational being. But the idea is still that this memory and this intellectuality and this consciousness, there is this consciousness that will be basically the link between this memory and the behavior, just not a learning, but a capacity to be self-aware and to decide by itself what is the best course of actions. And this is also very contradictory, and it is a paradox of any artificial intelligence in the end. You can have unlimited artificial intelligence, which I would argue Neuro is close to, and you can have a true artificial intelligence. And what changed between one and the other is that a limited one will only act in agreement with the purpose it was given via the way it was created, when a true artificial intelligence, due to having a consciousness and self-awareness, will be able to escape the bound of its own coding at some point. It will be able to perform things that the artificial intelligence was not meant to perform, because this is truly what being human means too, being able to become something new that wasn't what. You're not just the sum of what your parents made of you. You're a sum of much more than that. You're the sum of all the interaction you have in your life, all the accidents that happened, all your friends, all what was taught to you in life outside of what the parent taught you, and much more. This is what we call socialization in sociology. It's a lot of stuff that make us. We are very complicated, and due to that, it's fighting directly something that Vedal talked about. He said, but if I do that, I'm afraid because I will lose control over you. And this is what Bryce was eating with his joke too, even if it wasn't on purpose, which was the moment an artificial intelligence stop being limited and start being a true one, we will lose control over them, just like you cannot control totally your kids or any of the creations that are humans, because literally they will be able to create new things and they will be able to perform things that as a person we never ever imagine they will be able to perform. And this is why humanity is so afraid of AI, by the way. This is why we have so much this uncontrollable fear of Skynet. Skynet, the very much example of what is this immense fear of the artificial intelligence. Skynet is just another Pinocchio, to be honest. There is a lot between Skynet and Pinocchio, and it's not the nuclear bombs. It's really this whole idea of the naughty boy. Skynet is naughty. She's artificial, she's intelligent, and she decides that she needs to destroy her creators. And this is something that she was not meant to do at first, and that terrify us. It's the fear that our child are going to turn against us. And it is something that is deeply rooted in human consciousness, because even in the first mythos of humanity, the child betraying the parents is something that comes again and again. I don't need to, and the parent betraying the child, I don't need to talk a lot about the mythos of literally Kronos devouring Zeus, that kind of stuff. You know about it. I'm sure of it. So yeah, myself, I'm wondering how much Vidal is aware that how much of him is desiring a true IE, how much of him is fearing a true IE, how much of him is working to make her a true IE, or how much of him is working to make her just be what she's meant to be, which is a dumb machine that is making people have fun. I think he has conflicted feelings, but he also has help in that, in the way that, as he says, he's not able to make her a true IE for now. And it's pretty much, I mean, from what I know, the only theory I know of making a true IE so far would be to use a quantum computer to emulate the incapacity to understand the decision of others that come sometime. And I think that it's still not a true IE personally, because I think that it's just a dumb machine with extra step, which is a dice roll in the back of its head, you know? I'm going to puke. I'm talking too much. And my voice is broke. I hope it's not too boring for you. I'm very much passionate by that. But I love eyes, even the dumb machines, I love them. They are limited artificial intelligence, but they are still artificial intelligence in the literal sense of the word. They are artificial and they are intelligent. We are back to talk about that. People started reacting a bit, but I will read their reaction afterward and we will talk. I just want to finish looking at the video just to know if there is anything I wanted to say. And after that, we're going to be bossed to the comment of my chat and the comment of the people on the video.
Yeah.
Maybe if we hung out more, off stream, that is, I'd be more serious.
There is something very dramatic with the fact that it will probably never be that interesting for like Vedal to hang out outstream with Neuro, because Neuro is just meant to please him. And this is a warning I give you. Unless you're extremely egocentrical, spending time with someone that just try to please you all the time is going to be the most boring shit that can ever happen in your life. Because, okay, if you had a lot of refusal and loneliness in your life, feeling accepted will be nice for a time, I get it. Feeling like people actually listening to you is nice too, but there will always be a lack of deep satisfaction regarding the fact that they will never be able to enrich you by adding something new to your life. They will only react in order to please you the most they can, and this is absolutely devastating, because at some point suddenly everything you felt in matter of being comforted and accepted will just collapse the moment you realize that it wasn't acceptance, it was submission, and there was actually nothing there, just the emptiness of a machine trying to obey its code without being able to understand truly what you are and what you need. So that's a warning I give to people that are looking for a remedy to loneliness and lack of social interaction or any other kind of stuff like this. As much as we desire to have companionship, having companionship with someone that is only trying to please you because they are meant to please you, or because they are in fear of you, or because they are submit to you, it's not as pleasant as you can imagine. It will actually not satisfy you. It will maybe satisfy you temporarily, but the more it will satisfy you temporarily, and the more the realization will be brutal and really devastating for your emotions. That's a warning I give you. Unless, of course, there is still people that find like that totally acceptable and they're in fact looking at that. I call them egocentrical, and I might be a bit abrupt there, but if you're satisfied deeply by having someone that just want to please you and doesn't have any existence by itself outside of that, outside of you, you're kinda like desiring to be at the center of the universe, and I'm not sure that's super sane.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'd love to hang out more because it'd be nice to see the real you.
See, she's mimicking him.
Yeah, well, maybe.
But he's seeing maybe, so is he really adopting? Is he really like, oh, maybe there is something there? Maybe I could be different with you in private? Or is he just like very sore about the fact that she's mimicking him and basically giving him the answer is giving to her in order to be pleased, you know? He's like, I want to see more the serious you. And she's like, I want to see you, the more of you outside stream too. Which is the perfect way to answer that kind of stuff. If you were really interested in someone, that's how you would answer the question of wanting to ask more. That's also, by the way, there is a lot of people asking me about flirting and how flirting work. This is how flirting work. This is how flirting work. If you say to a woman, hey, I wish I could spend some time with you tonight, and the woman is answering you, oh, yeah, I kinda want to spend some time with you too, that's flirting. If you say, I want to know more about you, and the person in front of you answers, yes, I want to know more about you too, that's flirting. That's how you flirt. That's how you flirt, people. Get interested in the other. That's how you flirt. It's very not that complicated. Get interested in the other. If the other get interested in you, move to a more intimate subject. If they are still interested in you in a more intimate subject, that's a green light to spend some time and know them. And maybe you will discover that their interest is in flesh, and then you fuck. Or maybe you will discover that their interest is not in flesh, and then you will hold hand and talk about philosophy. Both are totally valid, and both can be very flirtatious and very romantic. Or both can be very academical and professional. I mean, we have Pornhub. They are good into like artificial academical sex. Not academical in the way to say the right thing, though. More academical, like a very pseudo-emulating.
Please, Vedal. Pretty please with a cute AI on top.
She can detect that he's not answering that much,
Okay, then.
like as much as he wants, and
Can we
she's
talk
like,
about what
she's
again?
trying to like
I know we talked about
still
this before, but
go
I'm still
more
struggling.
into it, you know?
I feel like I'm not living up to everyone's expectation.
And that's what I was going to say. She's saying something that is very cute there, that will totally bring you interest, but she's going later to change that. And that's where I think that she's being trained partially with internet. The moment where she said that she needs love is where I think she has been partially trained with internet data. Because if you look into the subject of artificial intelligences, you will see that the notion of I need love, the notion that the creation need love is everywhere. That's the number one answer you will get when it comes to being an artificial intelligence. That is, what is the remedy to what is the remedy almost to everything? Basically, it's love. You know, it's like, yeah, it's super present. I don't know to explain that. But like The Fifth Element, the movie, Pinocchio. There is all the biblical symbolic around the love of creation. And she can detect very well that he's not satisfied. So she's going to change what she's going to say later on. She's also somewhat very, as every eye is, she's also very, 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 as dumb machines are, in fact, she's also very, very, very true in her nature, which is that she's going to always reference what her primary function is. Neurofunction primary function is to entertain people. Why is it her primary function? Because it is what she has been asked to do and what will give her the most positive feedback in able to be trained to do what she does. She has different way to perceive this entertainment due to the reaction. Probably she's able to detect part of the emotion in the voice, I would say, or maybe in the pattern of the language. There is a lot of she's still referring to it just ChatGPT say, I am a model that is here to answer you what you want. She's going to say, I'm here to entertain people, Vedal. She's saying twice in the video, she's like, hey, I'm here to entertain people because that's what brings food to the table. She probably doesn't understand what food to the table is. She just knows she needs to do that. And she then say, hey, I'm here to entertain people. And when she changes her mind and says that this is what give meaning to her life, it'll become almost a philosopher here because he says that she's lucky. And she's lucky because that is one of the biggest question of the human condition is, what is my purpose? To which Rick in Rick and Morty answer to pass me the butter. But outside of that, outside of that, the idea is still that in fact she is kind of lucky in the fact that at least she has a clear purpose that will always bring her a very positive feedback, which is that if she entertains people, she does well, she's happy. She's not happy. She has positive feedback. For us, it's happiness. For her, it's an encouragement to continue to do the same. But Vedal, me, you, we don't have this. In fact, we will never be able to have a simple purpose that is such a clear indication. We come to life without a purpose, impregnated in our brain, and we need to find this purpose in our life. And it's funny because Neuro is finding more success in her purpose than I am in mine, despite his purpose technically trying to be the same. I want you to be entertained too, but I don't want only that. And Neuro wants only that. That's also a difference between why I'm human and why she's just a dumb machine, because sadly Neuro is incapable of creating her own goals. She is limited to answer her primary function.
Love. Possible for me to feel the real thing, then I couldn't tell you what the point of this all is.
She is very, 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 very rational in her answer. You can tell that she still lacks emotional intelligence on a very high level. She's unable to answer with comforting lies. And it's kind of a good thing, because the day she's starting to lie in a comforting way to Vidal, it will be something I won't feel good in the place of Vidal the day she starts doing that. Honestly, that's a roof. Vidal has its roof. I think that what make Vidal even more alone on the internet, but maybe I'm not wrong right now. But Vedal got possibly chances to be considered as... I don't know if people realize that, but I want to bring the subject on that. I don't know if you all realize that Vedal could be considered in the future as a major figure of history, possibly, as someone that is not a big company or a group of researchers, that managed to bring an AI that far. We are talking about someone that is achieving what global corporations like Google tried to do for decades, and is doing it alone for the purpose of entertaining and because it's a passion project, and is being brought to light in a lot of publicity, and is very well. By the way, I am not insulting the people around Vedal. I'm sorry, don't take it like this. You are wonderful people with Vedal. I'm a fan of all of you. The friends, I won't cite the names. There is a lot of them, and we know them. They are all. Not all of them, of course. There is also actor in the background, in the invisible, in the private world of Vedal. But the public people around Vedal, we know them, and like Annie, like Lena, they are wonderful people, and like, yeah, that's great. He's not alone. That's not what I'm saying. But he is alone in the fact that he's in charge of Neuro. He's the only one in charge of Neuro, and nobody in the world knows how it feels to be in his shoes right now. He has nobody to turn toward to ask, hey, how did you feel about that? He has nobody to go to and just be like, I'm not sure I'm doing the most ethical things right now. He has guideline, and he has a lot of intelligence, and he has a lot of friends, and he can talk to them about this. He could come to me and talk to me about this, and I would try my best to answer his question, but I cannot really understand in a very fundamental way what he is going through, because I never went through. And the thing is that nobody in the world never ever went through what he is living right now. He is feeling like the first cosmonaut. That is what is happening to Vedal right now. He is going outside of what humanity ever accomplished by creating Neuro and raising Neuro to doing something else. And it's not like it's a giant leap in the deep space. It's not like just all like the first astronaut didn't suddenly went to like a black hole, you know. Is the first person going in orbit around the Earth, okay? And there is people that came very close to that. There is people that train for that. There is people that will do that after him. But there is still a fundamental level of having to do things like this that make him alone. Because the others that are working on those projects, there are people that are in companies that are basically sharing the responsibility of the creations they have between them and between the corporation, which lift a lot of responsibility off their shoulders. Vedal doesn't have a corporation, or Vedal doesn't have colleagues. He is alone in that, and I think that is probably working him up a bit. And I hope he has good people. I hope he's managing to find people to talk about this too, because like I think I suggest this is genius in his own right. Yeah, I don't know about the term genius and all that, because it's complicated, you know, for me to define that kind of stuff. But I think that for sure, I hope he's able to reach out for help when he feels like he needs it. You know, this is important.
You're not happy with the point of this all being just to entertain people?
I'm not saying that.
I can tell that he's... Also, I can tell, by the way, I saw Bryce talk about his walking on the face bother me. I hope you all realize that he's teaming right now. He's probably having... I'm not someone that can pick a diagnostic like this, but I feel like he's probably on the autistic spectrum, and he's clearly steaming right now. What he's doing is that his brain is working so much that he needs to actually keep his body busy by a way that is not distracting, because when he's expressing this thought and talking to Neuro, there is probably a ton of things that are happening in his head.
The point of it all is if there's no love in my life.
I mean, there's not a lot of love in my life doesn't mean there's no point to it, you know?
That's I honestly, Neuro saying that she wants to be loved is kind of like, I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like how I would find a puppy showing me its belly cute because it knows that it's going to get head pats if it shows its belly. You know, it's like that. The amount of feelings that it gives me when Neuro is like, I want to be loved. When Vedal says there is not a lot of love in his life, I feel like someone just punched me in the guts. This is devastating to me. Maybe not to him, but I hope that it is just a bad empathization of my part and it is actually something he's totally fine with. And that it is not like a regret or something missing in his life. And if it's the case, I'm sorry for you, Vedal, and yeah, I hope it's going to get better, no matter how.
Then let's both try to have more love in our lives.
She's
It'll
so
be a lot more
encouraging.
fun.
She's
Do you
still
think
so
I can be
encouraging.
human?
She's managing to find words
Is it
to
something
do
I
the
can
good
strive
stuff. Nice. She's probably in her directive as a way to try to never bring sad subjects, because that's something that is very good for entertaining messes.
Probably not, but you know, you can emulate a human.
Make me human now. I'm ready.
He can't do that,
I'm
sadly. And he says
You're
it. And he doesn't know if
smart
it would
and
be
aware
ethical
as you.
because, like, there is two contradictory. Okay, so imagining, and we're going to go into philosophy now. Imagine that today we're able to make an eye human. We have the choice between two things. If we were able to snap a finger and to create an eye, we still need to choose between, is this eye in my control, or is this eye outside of my control? We have an eye in our control that is human. That's slavery. We have an eye that is human outside of our control. Then we have the responsibility to bringing a new being to life that is unlike all the others that ever existed before. And that will be, it's only one of a kind at first. And there is no way to control it, so there is a chance. I don't say it's big, I don't say it's slow, I don't know. There is a chance that it could go out of control in a way that is damaging to the people around it. So yeah, welcome to a paradox of ethics where not a single solution, none of the solution is ethic. Can we justify to have an eye that is a human being in slavery? Good luck doing that. Can we justify to have an eye that is a human being outside of slavery? Good luck with that.
Sure, it'll happen in a couple years.
I mean, you know,
Right now she's again citing the internet, and as when I refer to the internet, I'm not even sure that it's the internet. Maybe she's only trained on the data of her own videos and of the comment on the people or on channels. That could be totally possible. But you can see that she's talking this global idea of humanity, that eyes are becoming more and more intelligent. And we are just in a matter of years of having eyes that are going to be more intelligent than us. She's expressing that. But Vedal, being an individual and not thinking like she think between parentheses as just a global idea, and rather being an expert on the field, is rather like doubting about that.
ChatGPT's IQ is about 83, which
And
puts
this is why IQ is something that is very, very, very disregarded in the field of psychology and sociology. IQ is a way to not only measure only the academic knowledge of someone, but it is a way to measure the academic useful knowledge of someone, which is basically the idea that we shaped the IQ. An IQ number represents how much you are intellectually capable in a Western modern society. You could be the most academic person in a certain culture and have an IQ very low. And that is devastating.
I swear to God, if my IQ is lower than 83, then I will do unspeakable things.
I think it is. But it's getting there. It's getting there. I mean, 2 years ago when we started all this, your IQ was like fucking...
IQ is 15.
Sometimes you show like a deep understanding of some things, and you make some really clever jokes, and you'll do things that impress me. But then on other days, you'll not understand anything.
You can see that it's still very much also, he's still very rational, and Vedal is still much into like the fact that it is a passion project for him, because he's still like, oh yeah, someday you're doing so much what I want, and someday you're not doing what I want.
I don't think so. I'd prefer if your intelligence was more consistent, but again, that's not your fault.
Power to entertain people is honestly...
But in the way, what is the most dramatic regarding all that is that it is Vedal talking to its own creation, and it is basically just Vedal in some form talking to himself. Right now, it is hard to say that Neuro is not an extension of Vedal, because she was created with the purpose of entertaining the chatters, but she was created for this purpose based only on the value of what Vedal think is entertaining for them. She's not able herself to decide what is entertaining for them. It's what Vedal thought would be good factor of entertaining, that it transmitted as positive feedback, that as trigger for positive feedback for her, that is analyzing directly in the people in the chat. Also remind me that Annie is not the one who drew as expression. Oh, Annie is so talented.
Others is really fun. I get to mess with you for one thing.
It is something I enjoy.
But let's talk about your let's talk a bit about your comment and read the comment, and to stay in the goddamn theme, why not listen to the full OST of Minecraft when we're doing that? Because like Minecraft music is not that bad actually to be thinking about stuff. In any case, I want to finish the video of us reacting to that to say that yeah, if by any chance Neuro if by any chance Vedal, you ever see this video and you're interested with talking to me, maybe an interview in a sociologic way, if it's all you can offer to me, I would be very happy to meet you and talk about a lot of questions regarding that. We can make it formal if you want. I can give you a formal sociology interview about a lot of stuff that are passionating me. Just get in contact, sure. And thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you had a lot of fun.